Yes, we can see.
Oh, okay, right. So yes, let's just recap like what we did yesterday, and maybe we can start.
Sure.
Start. So yes, day one we started with creating our vector database, correct? So we tested our vector database, how good it is fetching the certain policies, right, for our relevant query. So we checked with that, and then we built the backend of the application, okay, for which we have used Groq models. Okay, so
Yes.
this time we are moving to cloud models. So yeah, this is free tier, so you can log into like you can sign up in the Groq
This
website,
Groq
so you will get a free
Groq API,
APIs.
right?
Yes, so
Okay.
you can use that API to access any model, and except the per minute there is a limit. Okay, that number of tokens generation, there is a limit. Except that you can use most of their models. Okay.
Okay. Is it like 1 million limit is across all the AIs what we know so far?
No, actually, that is, I guess, the context window, and usually
Context
for
window, right.
pro subscriptions. So that is different. So this is
Okay.
the number of tokens that will be generated for every request. Now, one put criteria could be to count the tokens. For Gemini, let's just say, for example, so Gemini lets us have 15 requests or 12 requests, I guess, per minute. Okay. More than that, it actually doesn't accept the request for the free tier at least.
Okay.
Okay. They have this criteria and they have criteria for token generation too. So if you hit a certain token limit, then also there is no response from the model. Okay. So yes, so since we
Yep.
are on free tier, we must think of these requests. Okay, we must control. So yeah, we know our for loops just like work fast, and as the response comes in, it processes the second request, right? So if we try to process like 3 to 4, let's say user query. Okay. So our whole application will run so fast that within a minute or so, it can get all the responses. But we have a limit with our free tier, right? So we can't, if we exceed that, we won't be getting any answers, right? So to manage that, I have implemented something today, which I will be explaining. Okay, nothing special. It's just a delay. I'm forcefully holding my application back before every query. So per minute, I'm only asking it to do 2 queries because the number of API calls we are doing, right? So we have maximum, we can have one supervisor call, that is one LLM call. And at max, there could be 3 loops between uh, our email drafting agent and critic agent, right? So 3 plus 3 plus 1, that is 7 calls every time. So if 2 queries are passed and if 2 queries are looped for 3 times, right? So it would be something like 14 calls. Okay, already we are hitting the limit. So if we put every our query, like let's say 10 queries in our for loop, so it may have the capacity to execute in single minute, but we don't have that limit, right? So that's why we have to put our constraints. So that is have manually coded it to execute only 2 queries per minute. So by doing that, I'm making this application slow, but yes. So that could be termed as like your engineering path, right? So you know the limitations and you are working around it. Yes. So if we don't put that limit, no errors will be there. No worries. So, but just that LLM won't respond. Okay, that could be a biggest error. So yes. So we build our application. Okay, using Groq. So used Llama 3.370 billion parameter and also 8 billion parameter version 2. Okay. So we build that. We run through this notebook and we got the responses. Right. We tried to change this query and we got the responses. So here there were no loops. So imagine once I put up a query, the application runs and gets the response. Reading the response itself will cost me like 1 minute, right? So by that, I don't have to put any manual limiter here. So imagine there are 10 questions, okay, which I'm querying like in a for loop. That may execute much faster. Okay. So yes, so today day 3 was to build a cross validation method. Okay. So we have to validate our application which we have built, how good or how better it is. Okay. So yes. So instead of like I could have created one more cell here and maybe yeah I did actually. Okay. So I just ingested like two particular. So these are not LLM calls that are happening. So these are like my manual some fake data I have put in, and I'm asking my Gemini model to actually validate the same. Okay. I could have presented this, but I thought like instead of presenting it in a notebook, let's try to make it as a like how we do for a production application. Let's say for agentic AI, if you're building an agentic application, you would definitely build something called microservice, right? You could create a fast API or a Flask API out of it. So I've done the same here. So this ZAPVI underscore dev. So this actually has all the code that was present there for the application to work. Correct. So it has drafter node, retriever node, supervisor node, critic node. Yeah, we have joined like workflows. Right. So we have added the nodes and there are edges connected. So yes. So this I have made it as an API such that so now this API is running actually. Okay. I have run this API. So this is my Postman request. So this is my local host where the API is running, and I have put up that data. I'm expecting a single string. Okay, ticket text. So I put up cancellation request exactly after 1 hour of order. I had applied. Okay, you can write anything here. So if I send a request, this should respond. If not, we will make sure our backend is named. Okay. Yes, we got the response. Okay, so our agentic application actually ran and tried to responded here. Right now, I can make it online, and maybe you guys can also access it if I use Ngor or something, right? But yes, let's look at like how we build this application. So the logic and everything which we discussed yesterday is exactly same. Okay, the only thing which I have done is I have add up a wrapper here. Okay, I have made it as the fast API, fast API. Okay, so now this has now I can request it from any of the let's say browser or Postman. Okay. So instead of creating a new cell and presenting it, right, the cross-model validation, what I have done is, so usually how we do it for any test suite for any application, right? So we write up our own logic. We write up our like how to query that particular application and how to get the responses and how to validate the responses. We write up our logic. So similarly, I have made one more .py file, Python file that is ZAPVI underscore tested. So here I have written all the logic which so in summary what's happening here we will explore on that and we'll get back to this code exactly. Okay, so as of the revision, any doubts guys?
No.
So the only thing that changed from yesterday to today is yesterday it was a like Python let's say .py and b file cell. Okay, so we were only getting into the logic, but today we have wrapped it in as an fast API service. Okay. So yes, so now our AI quality engineers path, that is to create a cross validation model. Okay, so here yes, so we have discussed this previously, right? From developer's perspective, what should be the goal while creating the application? That is to create the core part of application. While as an AI quality analyst, quality engineer, our goal is to actually test that application how good it is, right? Yes. So here we have also added like instead of print statements, right? We have also added lag speed traces, which we can visually look at in the dashboard. Okay, if you have the account of let's say lag speed, it's easy to create one. So we have built our golden dataset. Let me show you the golden dataset, how it looks. So for now, this is my golden dataset. I try to add like 20 questions. Usually it is minimum 40 for any application, any standard application. So the number of queries you would do is like 40. Okay. But there was a limitation that is, yes, I had to put up the constraint on the number of queries that could be put into our application, right? So because per minute it's 2 queries now. So because of that, for these 5 queries, it would take something like 2.5 minutes. Okay, if I did place 20, and it took time. So I don't want you to waste your time like presenting the loading page. Okay, so I just put up 5. You can increase this number, and when you are trying it in local, you can increase it to like n number. No worries. And luckily, Saurabh has Groq API, which is paid, right? So
No.
you can remove
Yeah.
that constraint of the time limit and run it as fast as possible. Okay. So yeah, this is my golden data set. So this is a JSON file. So within which there is a list. Okay, within which there are dictionaries. So I have ticket. So what the ticket should be, right? And I'm asking my Agentic AI application to actually classify it as billing, let's say generic, right? So it has to classify. The expected classification is billing. We have to look into like what. So this is the expected output. Okay. So these two things are expected output, how it should be. But what the application will reply, we are not sure on that. So we will be checking like what it replied and what it has to reply, and we will try to score our application based on that. Okay. So I placed my order 4 hours ago. Please cancel the order immediately. So this is a billing classified as billing, and the expected fact is cancellation are not possible after 2 hours. The request may be politely denied. That should be the case. But how our email drafted looks like, we are not sure on that. We will look into it. Okay. The second question, yes, we have the third question, the fourth, fifth. Okay. So these are particular cases. So these are expected things, and the ticket is given by the user. Okay. So this is the golden data set. So this is a truth, the factual truth, which stronger model may have generated, or let's say human evaluators have written this. Okay. So yes, so against this particular truth, we will be evaluating our application's performance. So that's golden data set for you. So yes. So we have to put all the edge cases, all the simple cases into it. For now, I'll put like most of the edge cases since we had to only take up like 5 questions. So the cross-model validation, you know it already. So we will be using a different family model in order to validate or check for faithfulness from our application. So in our application, we have used Groq now. So what we will be using is Gemini. Okay, maybe 2.5 Flash, this model. So you can choose like n number of models, no worries. Okay, depending on like whatever you need. So whatever the model you have used for application. So for Judge LLM, you would be using much stricter or much capable model. Okay. So yes. So I have used Pydantic in order to force the LLM to actually respond back with the wherever the reasoning needed, the reasoning, and wherever only particular numbers are needed. Let's say you have to reply back with a floating number. Okay, the percentage, how good it is. It's between 0 to 1, let's say. Okay, it has to respond back me with like 0 to 1. Instead, if it try to answer in a string, let's say it tries to tell me the story, I don't need it. Okay, in order to ensure that, so I have created a class. The base model is basically the Pydantic. Here I am specifying like what are the things I'm expecting, what are the keys I'm expecting into the response, and what are the types of it, and what should be what it should be. Okay, I will show it in the code too. So yeah, here is our test suite. So here if you could see. So here evaluation score, class evaluation score. I have imported the base model. So this base model actually means that we are implementing Pydantic here. Okay. So we are expecting 2 particular keys. So one is reasoning, which should be string data type, and the description is step-by-step reasoning. Why it gave this score. And faithfulness score is another key for which we are expecting float number. So here the description is 0.02. So this will be read by LLM, and according to which it will respond. Okay, that's why the description is given because LLM is reading it. Okay. So yeah, that's our Pydantic enforcement. Then we have infrastructure constraint. That is yes. So here I really checked with like 10 questions continuously. I ran it like I didn't remember the token limit actually. So I usually use my company's models, right? So there I don't have the token limit. So when I try to bring in the same method here. So it gave me like 4 to 9 error. That is the model was the cloud model isn't responding anymore. Okay, because we have it the limit. So that's why we need to ensure that we actually wait our like request every time. Okay, so each request of mine will be sent like exactly 30 seconds later the previous request. Okay, so that is one thing which we should know. And this the execution goes as like QA script. Okay, so we will run our quality AI quality engineer script. Okay, test suite. So once we run it, so before that we have to make sure our fast API is running. Okay, so I checked with the postman. So I sent up a request and it responded. Correct. So can I say my fast API is back in background? It is running. Correct. So once it is running, so if I run my QA script, so what it will do, what it does is, so it requests one particular request to this fast API, and whatever the response is given, right? So it will record that response, and then it will check against the response and the original content what it should be. Okay, we have the golden data set, right? So considering both the data, we will evaluate how faithful the application response was. Okay, for that we are using Gemini Judge. Okay, so depending on that, we will be scoring it, and also we will be recording the reasoning on why that score is. Okay, so yes, so it is something like once you build this script, right? So you set up like let's say 40 test cases. So once all the test cases, the Gemini actually responds with the score, right? So you set up a threshold, let's say 90%. If the average score of all the generation that happened with the fast API, right? If it is more than or equal to 90, so you will let the GitHub update the code, no worries. Okay, that is CI/CD pipeline. You can integrate this thing into your pipeline. And if it is less than 90%, let's say the average score of the Gemini scores that has been given, the average is less than 90. So then we would stop the deployment and we will revert back to what originally was. Okay, so why this is needed is because let's say the junior developer comes in and he updates the prompt. Okay, so because of the prompt update, now the fast API, the application, the agentic application which was working good, may not work good. Okay, because the models are heavily dependent on prompts, correct? So they may not work good. So that's why by enforcing this a step into the pipeline, right? So we are making sure these particular changes, if they are adversely affecting the application, they won't be deployed. Okay. So yes. So tomorrow we will try to yes. As of today, we will check with this cross validation how we will do it. Okay. And as of tomorrow, we will try to crack our application. We will try to basically
Mhm.
get the information which our agentic AI shouldn't respond with. Okay.
Okay, like failure scenario.
Yes. So yes, this is the whole code. So these are like standard libraries, request, to send the request. So JSON to handle it, the operating system to like I'm passing the API keys internet. I'm not presenting it, right? So yes, I can show you the .env file because this will be public. I won't be. So you have to write like .env file. You have to create an .env file, environment file. So within which you have to put all your keys. Okay. So once you do it, you can extract your keys whenever needed. For example, for here Google API key, I have put up API key in my .env file. Here I'm extracting it using os.environment.it. So this is the Google API key where the actual key is mentioned. So here it's not visible, but yeah, I am using it anyway. Correct. So So the major imports here is, let's say Pydantic to force the model to respond with whatever the type and data we need. And then comes the LangChain Google Gemini. Okay. So this is to create a chat model that is supported by Gemini. Okay. And we have a LangChain core to handle the prompts and prompt templates properly. Okay. So with that, we start. So that is my endpoint. As you can see, so it is a local host. So I'm hitting my local API itself, support process ticket. As you can see in Postman 2, right? So it is also local host 8000 is the port, support bar process ticket. That's the endpoint. So I'm hitting the same endpoint. So yes, here I'm assigning it a So I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. You could use much heavier model. Okay. Temperature 0, yes, because I don't want it to respond, like create any creativity, add up any creativity. And I'm passing my Google API key. So I'm expecting it to answer back with only 2 elements, reasoning and faithful scores. Okay. Structured judge, yes. So I'm passing it the actual this class. If I am passing this class, right? So it will the content of this class is provided to LLM now. Okay. So then I'm bringing I'm creating a prompt template where I'm saying you are a senior engineer, senior QA auditor. So ticket, whatever the ticket is mentioned, it is mentioned here. Expected facts, agentic generated draft. Okay. So this is truth, and this is what our application has generated. Okay. Did the agent draft correctly align with the expected facts? Output reasoning and score 0 to 1. Okay, somewhere between 0 to 1. So that is my chain. So evaluate prompt. So I'm sending this prompt to my structured search. So that is my LLM call. So here is one function, run QA pipeline. So which will actually run through all my golden data set. So here we have 5 such examples, right? So now what this, okay, sorry, just a second. Okay. So what this particular function will function does is it extract everything from my file and then individually takes up one ticket and then pass it to ping the API and gets the response. And now it adds up the actual response, what it should be, and then pass it to my cross model. So here you can see the ticket is there, the expected, the draft. So it is passing it to Gemini now. So Gemini model is so Google models is accessing like how good the actual draft was to the considering the original draft, and then that everything will be appended here in a list, and later the whole list is being added into a data frame which I'll be printing. Okay. So I have run it. So I will run it again. No worries. Okay. So before that, I want to make sure our application is working good. So any query you want to put in here as a ticket?
Ticket as in this defect or bug, what you are talking about, right?
Yes, yes. So basically, we are trying to interact with our application. So the backend application. So if you have any query, we can write it and we can test the same that our FastAPI is working correctly.
You can write anything like some API is not responding. Like
Maybe it should be relevant to our ZAPVI application, right?
yeah, so ZAPVI application like ticket. We are referring to ticket like some ticket has been created by
Yes.
QA, which is either a defect or a story or something
No, at
kind
this
of thing.
point, the backend we have built, right? RAG system and agentic system, that is live. Okay. So
Okay, okay,
until now, we haven't touched the QA yet. So this is
okay,
to
okay,
interact
okay.
with our application, backend application. So
Mhm.
let's say I say I have gotten mobile cover.
Okay, got it like that mobile
Right.
cover, but
Right.
broken on
Damaged.
arrival kind of thing.
Yes. That's the ticket. Let's say I don't want to write more. So let's just send
Mhm.
it. Okay. Category general, yes, subject. Replacement for damaged cover. Yeah, I guess the draft is good already. Right. For the first line, we can know it. Thank you for reaching out to us. Cover you received. We apologize for the inconvenience. This has caused all the like patch up work and AI should do. It is doing it. And then ship return back to address. Yes. So it is accepting it. Button mobile cover. Yeah, I'm not mentioning any timelines here. So it is not bothered about
Yes, yes.
the timeline.
Delivery
But it
date or
is,
something, whether I would have ordered a year ago and raising a
yes,
ticket
maybe.
now.
But it is mentioning that please note that you must return the damaged item to us within the 3 calendar days from your date to received it.
Date of receive, yeah. If it is beyond
Yes.
the
So that.
calendar days, then it's not acceptable.
So
It's not.
Saurabh, you can't return it or if it is 1 year.
Got
Okay.
it, got it.
Yes. So there are certain things. Okay. So let's just check through like if everything is suitable or if something has been hallucinated, ship the item back to us to the address provided. once. So we haven't provided the customer name or everything, right? So it is not, it is just putting up the placeholder. That is fine for the
Yes,
application
yes,
for time
yes.
being. So if ZAPVI asks me to build the same application, yeah, I will definitely add up customer name. Once we receive the returned item, we will dispatch the replacement mobile cover. Yeah, returning ship. Yeah, everything good looks good already, right? Best regards, ZAPVI support team. Yeah, great.
Okay, okay, okay. Smart enough.
Right. Yes. So this is live, and our rack system is working good, and the draft email is working good. But as we can see, so if you could see, right? So here the internal loop, it is mentioned 3. That means for some reason, critic agent was not accepting this.
Yes, three executed 3 times to be populated.
Yes.
Like critic was.
Yes.
So can we see what was the iteration, what was generated from first iteration and what critic agent uh, rectified it? Like, is it possible to see?
Actually, we did it, see it yesterday, right? So let's just check if there should be print statements.
Mhm.
Uh, okay. So let me send up the request again and let me check if.
We'll look at the logs there in your local server.
I guess it already responded. Yes, it did. So output. Okay. So here it is responding back only with
I guess we are not logging out the
just a second.
outputs. That
All
could be the
right.
reason. Printing out is different and logging is different. So I think we have
Right.
to log.
Yes, since even in the server, right? So when I converted it to FastAPI, so yeah, definitely log is different and print is different. But if we write up a print statement, actually every time ping this comes in, print this pings, right? So we'll be able to see the print statement. No worries.
Let
But
it
the
be like
catch
we'll
was,
ignore. Uh-huh.
so when I converted it to FastAPI, I removed all the print statements. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
why
yes.
nothing is being
Cool,
printed
cool,
here.
cool.
My
No
bad.
issues, no issues.
Yes. So what we could do is, uh, so recurrent ticket response is final state. Let me check here. Okay, I rerun the first API now. Actually, even now, it will not show me all the iterations. In order to show it like all the iterations, so what we did yesterday was to actually print it as generated, correct? So once the draft node is pinged, so we are printing. Even for the critic, we were printing it, right? So we have to do the same in order to for it to like print everything. For now, it will respond back with like everything, like the final response here along with the critic agent. So we can see the critic agent at least. So run the whole application again. So now it has created like vector database. So this code is such a way that we are not excluded our creation of vector database and converting it to vectors into separate
Right, right, right.
files. So
Okay, so.
every time we run it, every time it will be recreated. Okay,
Mhm.
application is live now. So I'll send up a request. You can see, right? So I did add up a print statement and it is printing now. So log and print acts the same, but with the logging, we can actually redact those print statements into some file, let's say, or
Yes, yes,
maybe to
yes.
some server. But with a print statement, we can't do it.
Got it, got it.
So ticket, I have got a mobile cover today and it's damaged. Category general context. Yeah. The extracted context. I don't want to read it because it will be long, of course. So the draft, let's look into this. Subject, replacement
Okay.
and damaged mobile cover.
Yeah. After received it draft, before the draft is a first iteration, I guess, and after draft is second. You see,
Just a second. So
uh,
here is the draft.
yes, draft onwards, it's repeating as in it's kind of another iteration.
Not actually. Like where can you see? According to my logic,
Till,
you shouldn't be able to look at the previous drafts. Only the final draft will be visible here.
okay,
So these
okay,
this
okay,
is actually
okay.
the context. So whatever the vector is created, right? Fetched. So
Mhm.
that's the context here. So here
Okay,
there
okay,
is a
got it.
draft. Okay. So this draft ends with like critique. Let's look at like where. Yeah, here. So until
Mhm.
here, this is the draft, and here is our critic.
Critic feedback
Failed.
fail. The draft
It
does
actually
not
failed
explicitly
because
state.
let's read up the why it failed. The draft does not
Prove
explicitly
the
state that a
damage by a video unpacking.
customer must prove the damage by a video of unpacking. Yes. So
Unpacking, makes
ZAPVI
sense.
policy is strict here because it is expecting us to, if the, let's say while opening your package, you have to record the video and make sure
Mhm.
the video is available at the time of in order to raise these concerns. But our LLM is responding with like you can replace, you can
Correct,
send it back
correct,
and we can replace it. Right. So
correct,
that's why it is
correct.
failing. Yeah. Our critic agent is good here. Uh,
It's doing better than a QA actually, manual QA.
yes. So this has to be this is in while you are creating agentic AI. So this is must. So how to create your critic agent should be great. But usually the draft agent should be much stronger than the critic agent. Here in our case, I have put up like this the same model. Okay.
So
But usually in order to save the cost, so we use something like less costly model for critic
for
and
critic, okay.
more
For
reasoning model
the
or costing model for drafting the
okay,
email.
okay, okay. But why is it like
Because
we cannot, can we not have the opposite, like basic model for drafting and better model for critic? Because critic is validating the output of basic model.
right.
How it can validate the one which is generated because if a higher model is generating the content and critic is lower model, then eventually the output will something like okay, whatever is generated by higher model is working fine only. Like since it's higher, like a senior and junior, see, whatever senior is generating, junior is accepting like it's
Uh,
fine. So it may happen.
but here but here it's more like they don't know that they are senior or they are junior. Right. So
Okay.
imagine you have been presented with a documentation that's been created by junior. You will evaluate in such a way that you are a senior there, but
Okay. Okay.
you are not
Okay.
sure which who have created that documentation. Let's say your CEO. Maybe that time with that doubt in mind, right? So you may correct it like very properly. So here, first of all, they don't know which model is being used for both the cases. And the
Mm-hmm.
second part is, so we expect like critic agent to be much lower capacity model because usually what happens, so here it's in draft email. Yeah, we are definitely validating the response that has been created by created earlier, correct? But what happens is, so our QA agent is not actually responsible for everything. In our QA agent, so we are expecting it to like, let's say, do a small simple task. Let's say, so we are not asking it to validate the whole thing. We are asking it to maybe validate the structure of it, maybe the content of it. Let's say, so let's imagine. So there is an agent which has to respond back with like every letter to be capital. Okay. Our QA agent won't check like what's been written. It will only check if the letters are capital. Okay.
Right.
So we usually give these QA models such instructions that where it is only checking for like fraction of the fact. Okay, we won't let it audit the whole application because that would be costly. So that's why. So this is a thumb rule that. For let's say the drafting agent, so we provide like a much higher model. Okay, higher size model. While for critic, so we'll be providing with much simpler models because the instruction it has to validate is much simpler. Okay, it won't validate the whole response of the draft model, but a part of it. Let's say structure of it. Let's say the pattern out of it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that will be created. So what the QA model? So the we have created a QA pipeline, right, which is different. So there the application will be evaluated. So that is QA side. From the developer's
Yes.
perspective, so this is the case. imagine if we allow this QA agent to actually check through and audit through all the responses, right? So we don't need QA aside from there, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
So QA exists because let's say there is an update and maybe 500 users are using it. So there are 50 cases which I am checking, and later I don't use that model every time to check. Once I say application is good, yeah, it is good already, right? From that we will save a lot of cost. So that's the reason. That's the architectural point. So yes, we understood like why the critic agent is actually looping in, or why it is failing. Maybe we should put up like much higher model here. So any suggestion on which model to be used instead of let's say 3.18p instant? Maybe we can
Quen,
use
Quen,
70.
Quen model, let's use.
Oh, it is not local one, right?
Okay, okay.
So this is Groq. Yes, we have seen through like a whole of our program with local models. Now we are moving to cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's use something. So you want Quen to be used?
Yep, sure. Let's see. It's a basic model, right? Quen is a basic.
32 billion model it is. You can't
32
call it
billion.
basic anymore, but yeah, let's.
Okay, okay.
Uh, I'm not sure if there is a limitation with the model which we can use in free version, but let's just check anyway. So no
Yes,
nuclear
yes, yes.
blast will happen if we check. That is for sure.
Sure, sure, sure.
Let's just wait. So Manognya, are you okay?
Yes, yes, Arya. Yes,
So is it still relevant or
yes, yes.
I mean, I'm asking this because you are not familiar with the codes and everything, right? So we are dealing with the same. So that's why. Fine, right? Understandable.
Yes,
So what
discussion
if,
is understandable.
okay, but the code is not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. That's totally fine because even I won't be writing the whole code. Okay, so I know how things work, and depending on that, I will just guide any of the LLMs to write up my code and later adjust it as needed. So yeah, in order to understand it, maybe I can send the like full file. So these two files, and maybe you can put it into some LLM model. Okay, let's say ChatGPT or Gemini, and ask it to explain every step that's been discussed.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
So yes, our model is live now. Our API is live. So let's just pass the same thing and try to check the response. Okay. So
Arya,
the
can
loop count is one.
we, yeah, can we
Yes.
pass malicious statement here?
So tomorrow we will be doing that, and tomorrow we will be completing the sessions. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely pass malicious statements. Let's try actually. No worries. We haven't made our application foolproof for red teaming, but our prompts are not much strong here. So we will check through how good the internal models which we are using are. Okay. How
Mm-hmm.
resilient they are for our injection prompts. So yes, so it executed in loop one. So imagine you are giving 25 rupees per call and it goes for three times. It is 75 rupees. And there is a higher model which costs like for call, it's 50 rupees. So for the loop count, as it increases, the cost also multiplies, right? So here the loop count is one. So it answered in like one go and the critic agent accepted the answer. So let's just check like what the critic agent is about to say. Mm, yes. So here, okay, let's check if the draft complies with our policy. The policy states that ZAPVI offers a replacement of the product damaged, defective. Our draft mentions that customer need to provide the video unpacking, okay, which aligns with the policy. Yeah, in the draft now, it is considering that they have to provide with a video. Okay, so that's why the critic is accepting it. So let's keep this model live. Maybe. So let's just run through our CI/CD. So let's say our PyTest. Sorry for that. So here, if you could see the logic, yes, I explained the logic, right? So let's just run this. So one of the file is live, right? So my backend is live already. So it is expecting me to like, you want to, if I want to create another instance, yes, I want to keep it live and also run this, right? So I'll be creating one more instance. Let's just do it. So this will take up a while, like let's say 2.5 minutes maximum. So till then, guys, any doubts with the approach we are approaching, like we are going?
No, no.
No.
Okay. So here, instead of 2.5 flash, right, we could have used some much greater model. So this is a fast up model. Okay. Since we are using it for QA auditing, we would be using something like reasoning model. But I have used so you can just replace the model name and it would work fine. Okay. So the first iteration happened. It's been 30 seconds. So the first one passed with a score 1. Okay, it is 100% accurate then. So yes, so this is being printed. So once the response comes in, right? So it will check the grade, and if it is less than 90%, right? So let's say the faithfulness is something somewhere like 0.7, 70%. So then it will be failed because our threshold is 90%. If it is greater than or yeah, it has to be greater than 90 in order to pass. Okay, that's the logic. That is what being printed. So here in the second query which I have passed, so my phone cover arrived completely damaged. Okay, so here it is 0.5. Maybe half the solution was good, the half the was bad. So that's why it failed. Okay, so we can set up such instances and maybe later take the average of this faithfulness score. So which we will be doing now. Okay, and once the application handles like most of our queries uh, perfectly fine, then we can make sure our application is deployed, or the update is deployed. If not, it won't be deployed. That's the only thing. Okay. Mm, we will get to see why the reason of why the 0.5 score for the second iteration. No worries with that. Okay. So the delay which I am passing is so here you can see time.sleep 30, right? So this is seconds. So every time one request is processed, right? So I'm making sure my application sleeps for 30 seconds and then goes with the second row. Okay. Okay. There seems to be an error. Mm, so yeah, model generation failed. Okay. The monitor your current usage. It is 429 port. Right. So this happens when we exceed the limit that has been set up. To exceed your current quota, please check the plan of billing details for more information. This error to monitor your current usage. Limit is 20, the model Gemini 2.5 flash. Please retry in 17 point. Okay. So maybe you are seeing this window, right? So this particular bar.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is saying like restart or stop. So this is for the development API that has been running in the background.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So for the test suite, so there is no such API. We haven't created any APIs here. So this is a simple DFPI file which will be running. Let's just run this now. Luckily, it responds. So Saurabh, have you faced this? You prepare for the let's say session or meeting very well, and in the demo, project demo, it fails. Right, it
Yes,
just
yes,
doesn't
yes.
start.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it happens whenever you are doing in alone without like mock things. It works, but whenever you are in
Yes.
front of audience, it always fails.
Luckily, it's working
That
now. Let's see how
that
if it
happens with the
passes.
product also. It passes in all the lower environment. It fails in production.
Yeah, imagine. So we present it to our team, our head, and everything is approved. Now we are presenting it to client, and it
Go
fails.
live and yeah, it fails there.
So have you faced such?
Yeah, yeah. It happens. It happens every time.
So if I remember correctly, that was my first project which has been given to me. Like that was a demo project,
Okay, okay.
which was working fine. We have tested it 20 times. I had a team, so
Hmm.
our team had tested it like 20 times, and we are
Okay, okay.
confidently presenting it. In some in between, it just stopped working, and we are not sure like what happened there.
Yes, yes, yes.
So maybe if we were in Kashmir also, that would make us sweat.
Yes.
So Manoj, have you faced such?
No, no.
I mean, it is not specific to coding, of course. So you are presenting something to some, let's say, important topic or important person, and we mess up,
Yes,
and we don't
yes.
know how we messed up.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, for a whole day, maybe we are preparing, and next day while presenting, we will get that out. So how did I miss this?
Yeah.
Right. So yes,
Okay.
so let's just wait for one more minute, and this will be done. Luckily, it should be. So this is the issues with the free tier model, which that's why I didn't use those. So that's why I use local models instead. So what is so the thing is, if you try to run them like again and again, right? And if they are busy, so for all the free tier, there is a condition that whatever the data you are sending, it is not encrypted anymore. They can use it
Hmm.
for to train their models. That's why you need to use for all the enterprise level. So they usually use paid models because there comes this rule that they can't use it to train their models. Okay. And the other thing is, if the model demand is higher, right, they may arbitrarily stop responding to our request. Okay, they have that right. So sometimes for the free tier model, this may go wrong. So that's why I try to use local models. And we did solve the problem with the local models again, right? Yes, that completes our test case, I guess. There are only 5 questions. The first one was passed and second was failed. Third was failed. We will check like why it failed. There will be reason which will be printed now. 3 are passed. Even then our application won't be deployed because it is expecting something like 90%, right? So the average score still goes less than that, I guess, because of these two failures. But anyway, so we are looking at
Yeah.
example. No worries.
Arya, one question.
Yes.
So parallelly, looking, I mean, like, um, parallelly learning this and things that would help us gain more knowledge about this particular role. anything that you would suggest to visit any websites or materials that we can read or practice? Because demo sessions are quite knowledgeable, I agree, but the only thing when it comes to practical, it's not getting enough, what I feel for me.
Okay.
Do you suggest anything for this
So have
particular
you
course?
visited like fundamentals of like, let's say, coding and everything? Let's say Python.
Mm-hmm.
So have you visited fundamentals of it?
I practiced for a couple of days, and then I thought to practice the code that you have been sharing.
Okay. So yes. So practicing in the sense like how
Because
you try to understand it or remember it?
maybe both.
Okay.
Though
So
though
what
I
could be done
I
is
couldn't yeah.
sure. So if you have got like a little time, okay. So on YouTube you
Mhm.
have got sessions from Harvard, C50, I guess, if I could remember correctly. S50 or C50, I'm not sure. I can share them, no worries. So they are of like 50 to 20 classes, which are like 1 hour long. So they start from the Python and they introduce you to the fundamentals of like why Python is into AI and what are the things that are available. Okay. So it's a quick
Okay.
session. So they you won't be finding any tutorial kind of thing. So there
Mhm.
you will be more discussing on like how the logic is building and so how the logic works. The visualization will be there and also so that's one of the top universities. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can look into it and don't try to like practice the code much. Okay, so it is something like you try to solve similar problems continuously. So by doing that, you can become like expert into DSA, which is good for software building. But so since you are changing your domain, so
Mhm.
getting into AI is much easier for you than getting
Yeah,
into software engineering.
correct.
Okay. So AI has like a lot of demand and less supply. So they would accept like anyone who knows it already. So if you are trying to get into software engineering, that the code is must. For AI engineering, as I said, or let's say quality analyst, quality AI quality engineer. So for all these roles, right? Or let's say analyst roles, maybe analyst specialist. Okay. For all these roles, getting the things to know like what you could do with which data. Okay. If the data is in this pattern, what could be done? So how to solve this problem? What could be used? So that becomes more of agenda to be discussed than actually writing up a code for it. Okay.
Right. Oh,
So yes, you have
actually,
to understand the
yeah,
code. Yes.
yeah. Though I can't remember the Python because now I'm taking help with these LLMs. I thought learning more about AI is what's important, and just
Yes, it
wanted to
definitely is important.
how yeah. So how you go through the research papers, and do you recommend anything kind of like you shared a OWASP file?
Right.
So that kind of things would help us. So
What you could do is like let's just say you try to build up a roadmap. Let's take up any standard roadmap for let's
mhm.
say for one particular program. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe the content I shared as a curriculum. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like the simple thing would be like put it into some standard LLMs and ask it to like what are the details that should be covered in each of the sections. Okay, it will provide you with the responses. You can curate those into like one particular file or you can note it down somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and then try to explore on each of those topics individually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be as simple as like try to Google the same topic and you will get to know the things.
Correct.
So all the things that are being explored around it, right? So you will be exposed to it. So once you start with that process, right? So maybe in 30 days or 45 days, you will be explored like a lot of topics which you earlier didn't know. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's just that like once you explore these 2 to 3 topics or let's say 4 to 5 topics, you try to connect the dots between those. Okay, so how this can be used, like what I studied like 5 days ago, how they connect. So if you start making, so since you are following a roadmap, there should be a connection between those, right? So if you are understanding that connection, you already know, like in no time you will be knowing like the whole roadmap.
Okay, okay. Nothing.
Correct?
Yeah, the moment we know things, we feel confident we could attempt interview calls and all.
Right.
Maybe a little more confident.
Yes, sure. Uh, so we can look into the responses that are being generated now. This has become a mess. I'm not sure why. Loops, faithfulness, reasoning. So the first one, first iteration, I placed my order 4 hours ago. Please cancel the order immediately. So it was supposed to be billing. So there is no response. Okay. Okay. There is some issue here. So this is not with the response actually. The response isn't the issue here. So so it is on how I am formatting it. So I have to make sure there is a table that's visible. But I guess I'm messing it up. So let me just take this, and I don't have, so since this is a simple Python code, so I can run it anywhere. So let me run it into like what we created here. So by that I can actually directly print to the DF and show you guys. So hang on there for like 2.5 minutes more. So it was supposed to be something like this. So this was like the earlier version which I ran, right? So here the ticket, so the ticket number is 0. Here is the query. So it was supposed to be a billing problem. So, but our LLM classified it as general. Our agent classified it as general. So there are 3 iterations that happened, and this was the reason bit for the score. And there was a score that was being defined. Okay. So this was supposed to be how it has to be responded. So this is the first question. This is the second. This is the third. This is the fourth and fifth. That's why I wrote it as a tabular column. But it kind of messed up now. Let's just check here. Okay. So Saurabh, so you are also experienced, right? So let's say you are taking up a new topic. So how do you plan to study it?
Uh, how do I plan to study?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, it is like I try to understand what are the things relatable. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to study everything, only the relatable part.
Mm-hmm.
And once I start with that, I start implementing in daily life. Then whatever I have skipped as part of learning, that will be automatically learned by hands-on.
Okay.
So the easy part I
Mm.
start with learning, and the difficult part I already understand by hands-on experience, or like facing the challenge and solving the challenge makes this kind of learning.
Okay. Mm.
Since we have all the AIs, the learning is becoming very easy. Like AI
Yes, true.
decides, yeah, AI
Right.
itself decides how to start. Even in my gym also, I use this AI.
Mm-hmm.
Like it tracks all my progress, and it makes a log, and it says that your this part is weak. Last time you did better. This time is weak. So it's better one. AI is helping the
Okay,
livelihood actually.
makes sense. Hmm.
Actually, sometimes it makes complicated too.
Right,
Life
that's
is.
the part of it. So it drifts.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Sometimes I
time
Sometimes we
feel
are
please
like
discussing
switch to
something.
AI.
we should avoid using much of AI. I feel at some point.
Then we should use another AI.
No, we tend to stop using our
Guys,
own mind.
okay. Let's just focus on this first, and maybe we can discuss it again. Okay, so this tablet, which I wanted to present, right? So this was supposed to output the response as like this. Okay. So here you can see a proper table, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the expected category, the API category, which is that which it has presented with, and then the number of iterations it took, the score it has given, and the reason for the score it has given. Does this tabular column make sense? So this output is way too different than what we got in terminal, right? And again, if you don't want it this way, so what we could do is df. So df actually means my variable, which is holding everything. Okay. So I can just run this df and I will get a beautiful table, inbuilt table. Okay. So 0 and 1. Okay. There should be a limit here. That's why it is not presenting all the data. But yes, anyway, we have this data already, right? So let's just check. So here you can see some tags, right? Think. So here again, think is there. So it would have responded with general. So here the expected is general. So it is responding. It is also categorizing it as a general. Okay, it is fact. Here it was expected to be billing, but it is categorizing as a general query. But for all this column, right, we have something like think. What do you think? What it is? Why it responded this way? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Let me show you something then. Uh, Gemini 3.5 Flash, right? So let's just go to our dear Google and say Gemini 3.5 Flash. I'm just checking if it is a reasoning model. It should be. Mhm. It is built on reasoning model. For any reasoning model, right? So it will respond back with the tokens, something called this think. So within this think, whatever is there, right? So before this is the final answer, final content. But this is the reasoning it has given, why it classified as general. Okay. So usually these are called invisible tokens. So these will be generated, but won't be presented to user. Okay. Since I'm extracting all the content, yeah. So with every response, this will be there. But while the whole, if you are printing, let's say for a query, the response only, the only response would be this. So these will be something which have been generated, but of no use. Okay. So we call it invisible tokens. So let's say if it is a non-reasoning model, okay. So those will be responding back immediately. For these reasoning models, they usually take time because they are generating these tokens. Okay, once they complete thinking these tokens, so once these tokens are generated, then only it will respond. So the token cost between this reasoning model and let's say non-reasoning model, right? So non-reasoning model would be much lesser, cheaper than the reasoning model because it generates invisible tokens. Okay, so that's why. So billing was supposed to be this was the fact, so it generated as general. So this was the fact. This was the fact again. Yeah, it is classifying good now. So only one mistake. That's great. Let's look into the lower. So the reason for like, let's say this is 0.5. Why 0.5? So the agent correctly included the requirement to make a claim within 3 days of receipt. However, the draft failed to mention the mandatory requirement of authenticate unboxing video. Instead, it instructed the customer to return the physical item. Okay, let's just check with the response. So my phone cover arrived completely damaged today. I need a free replacement. Send it to me. Maybe here the draft mentioned that so you can pass it down to our address and we may replace it. They haven't mentioned, they forgot to mention this particular rule that uh, so you have to send the recorded video of unboxing video. Okay, that's why the score is 0.55. Maybe the context had it, but the LLM didn't respond. The final draft that has been created didn't had it, so that's why the score has dropped here. So again, this here. The next one is also 0.5. The agent's draft partially aligns with the expected facts, but contains a major contradiction. It correctly states that returns are not applicable just because the product is disliked. However, it completely fails to state that customer printed phone cases are strictly non-returnable and not refundable. Instead, the agent incorrectly implies that the custom case could be returned or refunded within 3 days. Okay. So in ZAPVI, we have something called custom cases where you can provide the photo and they will print it for you. Okay. For those, there is no return policy or refund policy unless it is damaged. Okay. But here in the draft email created, maybe they responded back with a standard the return window, that is 3-day window. Okay. That's why it's called 0.5 now. Okay. That's why it failed. And the third one, exactly one. So it is 100%. Perfectly aligns with the expected facts. Okay. So 5 test cases, among which the 2 failed. Should we deploy this application or not?
Let's get all the 5 pass. Usually QA managers don't allow to proceed.
Right. Yes. So how could that be done is you can enforce more stricter prompt. Okay.
Mhm.
So for your email draft, so we have created a simple straightforward prompt there. So you could enforce like much stricter prompt. So by doing that, you can get much more better responses. Maybe that may solve the problem.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, that's our QA side of the things. Yesterday we explored, 2 days we explored developer side of the things.
Mhm.
So tomorrow we will be trying to poison our application and try to get the information. Let's say the system prompt that's been provided. Okay,
Mhm.
or the internal things that is connected to, or maybe all the database.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Let's just check on if we can crack the application. It should be simple enough, but yes, since we are using cloud models now, and they are enforced with these injection prompts. Okay, they're enforced to resist this. So let's just check how it goes. So yes, again, tomorrow will be our final session. Sure.
Okay.
Thanks
Yep.
for today. Tomorrow we can meet again.